Have you ever thought about how some of the most plain, unassuming buildings might be hiding the most incredible secrets? Well, today, we're diving into a story just like that. We're heading to Edirne in Turkey to explore a place where a sultan's dream was literally built into the walls, creating this hidden world of just jaw-dropping art. I mean, from the outside, this building is pretty unremarkable, right? It's almost like it's trying not to be noticed. But the second you step inside, everything changes. You find this treasure that has had art historians buzzing for centuries. So you've got to ask, what exactly is it hiding?
All right, so let's start with that plain appearance, because what you're looking at here is basically a masterclass in architectural modesty.
Okay, so this is the Muradiye Mosque. It was built by Sultan Murad II way back around 1436. And it really does have this humble, almost forgettable look to it, doesn't it? Seriously, you could just walk right by and have absolutely no idea what kind of treasure it was designed to protect. But here's the thing, that plainness, it's a total illusion. It's on purpose, because the moment you cross that threshold, everything, and I mean everything, changes. Yeah, inside, it's like you leave the ordinary world behind and just walk straight into an explosion of color and pattern. You're suddenly standing in a treasure trove of Ottoman art. I mean, just look at this. The whole interior is an absolute riot of color. The walls, the mihrab, that's the little niche that points towards Mecca for prayer, are completely covered in these world-famous 15th century Iznik tiles. And this isn't just some pretty decoration, okay? This is widely considered the absolute peak, the pinnacle of Ottoman tile artistry. It doesn't get any better. And believe it or not, it doesn't even stop with the tiles. Just look up, see the domes and the arches, all those incredible hand-drawn patterns. That style has a name. It's called kalemishi. And it just adds this whole other layer of intricate beauty that makes the inside feel so unbelievably rich and complex. So, this brings us right to the big mystery, right? Why? Why go to all the trouble of creating something so stunning on the inside, only to wrap it up in such a simple, modest package? Well, the answer isn't really about architecture. It's about a dream. Yeah, the key to unlocking this whole thing is in how the building got started in the first place. And trust me, it's a story unlike any other. You see, historical accounts tell us that this entire artistic masterpiece, it all exists because the Sultan had one single, really powerful dream. So here's how it went down. Sultan Murad II has this incredibly vivid dream about the great mystic poet Rumi. He's so moved by this vision that he immediately orders a grand complex to be built right here for Rumi's followers. And by 1436, that dream had become a reality. And that right there is the why. That's the key. The building we're looking at today, it wasn't originally built to be a public mosque at all. Nope, it was a Mevlevi Hane, basically a lodge for Mevlevi dervishes. Think of it as a private spiritual sanctuary. And all that magnificent art, it wasn't for everyone to see. It was meant for the quiet, personal contemplation of the mystics inside. But of course, things change over hundreds of years. The building's purpose started to shift. So let's kind of trace its journey from that private lodge to the public mosque that it is today. So back in the day, this wasn't just a standalone building. It was part of a huge complex called a kuliye. I'm talking a soup kitchen, a school, the whole shebang. But fast forward to today, and well, most of those other buildings are gone. All that's left are the main lodge, which is now the mosque, the fountain, and the cemetery. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of its journey. It starts its life in 1436 as this private spiritual hub. Then, over the centuries, the big complex around it just kind of fades away into history. And that brings us to today, where that original art-filled lodge is still standing, but now it's a public mosque, which means its incredible hidden treasures are finally accessible to everyone. So when you put all these pieces together, what are we really looking at? It's way more than just a mosque, right? It's like a hidden piece of world heritage. So let's break down why this building matters so much. First, it's a perfect textbook example of 15th century Ottoman architecture. Second, it's basically a time capsule that's holding the absolute finest Iznik tile art ever made. And maybe most importantly, it is the real, physical legacy of a sultan's spiritual dream. You know, when you boil it all down, the story of the Muradiye Mosque is really a story of powerful contrast. You've got this simple, plain shell on the outside that was built to protect a soul made of just brilliant, world-class art. And the whole thing was sparked into existence by a single dream. It's pretty amazing. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? When you look at art like this, are you just seeing beautiful tiles on a wall, just decoration? Or are you maybe seeing something more, like the immortal, tangible proof of a dream?